So where are we?
So right now we're at the International Ring, and it's, I guess, kind of the center of the horse show here. So I've done a couple classes in here, and all the big Grand Prix usually go on in here. So at night there's a huge atmosphere, and it's a lot of fun. So for example, during the Nations Cup, like Canada has a section there, and the Tiki Hut usually gets really busy, and the Irish section's there. And then over here, there's the gallery, which kind of gets busy on Saturday nights, and the whole area is filled. There's like a band right here and a lot of atmosphere, and definitely exciting to watch here. I really enjoy showing in this ring because it's so big you almost don't even notice that you're in like an enclosed area, and I find certain horses of mine even go better in here because there's just so much like open space to gallop, and I don't know, I really like it. It's good footing. Sometimes it gets a little harder, people say, near the end of the circuit, but I think this year it's been pretty good so far. So over there, that's the International Club, which is tables, and then people get like food there every day. Here are all the blue seats. I think people usually buy tickets for them for night classes, but typically you can just find seats there any Saturday, and during the day, when there's classes on, they're still pretty empty, so you can just come here, sit and watch. And then there's like a big Jumbotron there, and so the Tiki Hut over there, that's where people can come and eat, and it gets really busy on Saturdays, but during the day anyone can go there and eat, and the food's pretty good. And then there's the Palm Beach Bridge, which people, I think they usually get their horse ready, and then if you're going to videotape or something, you can run up there and go watch. So often I'll watch them up there. And then there's kind of like a couple other little restaurants and stuff behind the bridge that way. This is the Grand Huntering, I think it's called. I don't actually do the hunters, so I've only showed in here a handful of times back when I used to do the children's hunters and the junior hunters a little bit, but I think this is one of the main hunter rings. It's quite big. All the jumps are very impressive. There's a little warm-up ring there. Then behind it is where the pony rings are.
Where's the warm-up?
The warm-up ring's just right there.
So let's go closer.
Okay. So the warm-up ring's right there, and then over behind that way, there's all the pony rings, and then I guess this is like one of the best hunter rings at the horse show. And all the jumps are very decorative and very impressive, I think, even as a jumper rider. So
you've never been a hunter?
I did have a hunter, one, and I showed him in like the junior hunters at the Royal and stuff back in Canada, but I never really in the States or anything.
Okay, so this is like the Grand Prix ring for the
hunters. Yeah, and then they have the Hunter Week here during the horse show. I think it's week 7 or something, and then all the hunters go in the big Grand Prix ring.
Okay.
So
Do the jumpers go watch it?
I watch it a little bit, but usually I think that the jumpers kind of get that week off typically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we now?
So right now we're at the Grand Prix ring schooling area, and then there's the chute of the International ring just on my right. So obviously you warm up there, and then you walk your horses around here and enter the ring and hope for the best, I guess. But right here is a little lounge. I guess it's sponsored by Charles Owen, and you can sit here and watch the warm-up ring, which is really nice because whether it's your friends or your coach, which is awesome to support them, you can also learn so many things from other riders, especially on like a big Saturday night class with all the professionals. And usually they have like little snacks and stuff out, so that's good too. Just behind me over there is where the horses go before you get on them. And then over that way is the farrier, so if any mishaps happen, you need to get a shoe replaced, then you can do that right there too. So it's all pretty central and convenient, the way they have everything laid out.
And how are the warm-ups here? Is it like a jungle?
I showed this summer in Europe, and I've been spoiled here, I think, compared to there. So here it's like you have 4 jumps, you get time to yourself to warm up. I find it's a lot less chaotic than, say, being indoors or in Europe or something like that.
What's it like in Europe?
In Europe, there's a oxer and a vertical typically, and it's kind of like fight to the death to get over the jump. So here you can definitely take a little more time, and it's not as busy. So.
Do you call your jump and that's your jump?
Well, I guess you have your trainer, your groom that will go out and set it, and sometimes you can share a bit with other people if you need to, but typically you have enough time to have your own jump and stuff. Yeah.
They have nice couches.
Yeah, so little couches and everything, which is pretty relaxing. It's nice during a busy day just to like take a moment and sit down before the class or whatever. So
usually you would hang out here when your trainer?
Yeah, so whenever my trainer, anyone shows in the Grand Prix ring, I usually come here, watch them warm up and stuff, and then can go watch them from either on top of the bridge, or there's little areas right under the bridge there, which is open to anyone who's watching or whatever. So, yeah, so the Saturday night Grand Prix are usually the biggest attraction, and it's like really buzzing with people and everything, and they put lights down in the warm-up ring, so if you come here, it's like very serious, the tension and stuff. I'd say everyone's getting ready to do their best in the Grand Prix. So I think it's super interesting to watch a warm-up because everyone has different techniques and stuff and how they get their horses prepared. So that really varies. But then obviously in the ring, you're just riding like you've done all your training. So it's interesting to see the training beforehand and how the training can help the final product.
And who do you really admire as far as when you watch them prepare their horses?
Well, obviously I think my trainer is really good, otherwise I probably wouldn't ride with him, so I think Kian's really good in that sense. A couple other favorite riders I have would probably be, I love watching Connor Swail, obviously as a Canadian, Eric Lamaze, Ian Miller. I used to ride with Beth Underhill, I think she's fantastic too. Here, I think BZ Madden's another, definitely an idol of mine too. Yeah. I'd say all of those people, they're obviously the horse is so responsive to them and stuff, but they're not really rough, because you see some riders that are so rough, like flexing them in a big frame or whatever, but they make it look so easy and natural at the same time, and they have like superb results in the ring. So I think that would be one of the main things that makes me really admire their riding. Yeah, and the bond that you can see and how smooth everything is. And all right. So we're kind of in the center of the horse show, and this is the famous Crepe Stand, and then all around there's just little shops, some riding stuff, some wef attire, some just plain clothing. So the favorite types, I like anything chocolatey, so like chocolate strawberry, but the ham and cheese is also really good. Yeah, all fresh, and right there, I see there's some people right there eating them. So it's kind of the center of the horse show. The international ring would be kind of straight ahead there in between the shops. And then behind us is where all the barn and stabling would be, over that way.
Okay. Do you have your horse when you show at a barn here?
No. We just we hack our horses over. So it's about a 5-minute hack for us. Okay. Super close, which is really convenient.
Like the grooms bring them over?
If I have time, then I'll bring them over. But typically they ride them over because I'll be busy walking the course or something beforehand.
And how do they know?
I guess just communication, texting each other. You can always set out a good plan in the morning, but as we know with horses, it definitely can switch with orders and all that. So just communication throughout the day.
So everyone's on.
Official sponsor of the
I'm shooting.
Winter.
Right now?
What is this?
Okay, so this is the warm-up class for the Nations Cup for the Young Riders, which is happening on Saturday. Today is Wednesday, and it's just a smaller meter 30 course to kind of get around. I haven't been in this ring yet with my horse, so we're just going to go around nicely. If we have a couple time faults, that's fine. If we have one down, that'll probably set him up even better for the big day.
Researched and tested, you can be assured our supplements promote better health and performance naturally. Best of all, your horse will love the taste.
Okay, so you've never been on the international ring?
I have before, but not this year yet with this horse. So, but he's been in here before, so I don't think I'll have any issues. He might be a little like fresh at the beginning, but we start way down there with number 1, and then it's a turn, roll back to number 2, and then it's kind of a funky turn to number 3, so I'm just gonna go out and straight there. Make sure he's listening to me and stuff.
Which one's number 3?
It's a vertical way on the end over there.
Is it the Fidelity Classic?
No, that's number 2, Fidelity.
Okay.
And then there's an option between the water and the triple bar. So I'm going to do the triple bar with my horse because he's very schooled over the water. He knows what to do. So we'll just do the triple bar for today. And then it's a wowing 6 to the vertical. So make sure I get him back there. That's a point where I want to make sure that he's listening to me. And that'll be a good preparation and practice. And then you go over to number 6, which is the jump there with the cookies on it. And it's kind of a tricky turn to the opposite because you don't want to jump it towards the stands there because it's up a little in the 6. So just make sure I get him around my leg there and jump it back a little this way. Flow up in the 6, and then another 6 to the big pillar jump right there. and then it's a right turn around the gray pillar jump to the Charles Owen in and out, and just coast up in the 5 a bit and then balance at the end to the careful vertical there. And then once again, another kind of interesting turn back away from the gate to the orange oxer right here. So just make sure he's around my leg and I keep coming forward there. And then some will go 8 here, some will go 9, but for my horse, we prefer to break out, go the 9 to the combination right here, and then it's a little long, so just leg over the oxer and then set him up for the out. I'd say it's not too challenging. There's a couple funky turns with the oxers there, which you're just going to want to make sure that you flow up too nicely and don't get caught away from the gate, but other than that, it's not set too big, which is nice for a warm-up class.
This week, we introduce from Canada, Nicole Walker. She's the owner of the rider with Blue Lloyd 12 and Air Stars number 2933. Ask that horse. Clear through the finish, 74.25 into 15th place overall. Nicole Walker, the last to go with Blue Lloyd 12 for